वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे Krishna. Welcome all the devotees. I would like to thank Her Grace Prashant Mataji and VIHG for giving me this opportunity to share some things, some thoughts. I feel actually unqualified to be sitting here and speaking, but still, as an endeavor, trying to please my seniors, I'll try to share some things. So, the topic which I have chosen to speak today is on sincerity. I don't know whether this topic has been taken before, this sincerity. Okay. When was that?
It was quite a while ago, in the very beginning of the talk.
In the very quite a while ago.
Sometime in July.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, we can again hear. Nityam Bhagavatam Sevya, they say, regularly we keep hearing and keep reminding ourselves. So when Vaishnavi Vrinda Mataji contacted me regarding this course, she sent me a list of qualities, and the very first, the top of the list of qualities was sincerity. It was easy to choose this topic because coincidentally, around 6 months back, I also wrote an article in Back to God magazine, which was on this topic of sincerity. So I thought it would be easy to share. And because especially that article was reviewed by senior editors, many senior Prabhupada disciples, His Grace Satyaraj Prabhu, His Grace Nagaraj Prabhu, His Grace Dhruta Karma Prabhu, Vishakha Mataji. So they went through the article, they liked the article and some small suggestions for improvement. So I thought better to share some things from that article. So I'll just begin with this. This is called etymology. Like logy means to study, radiology or psychology. And etymology is like science of studying the derivation of words, how the words are derived. So this word sincerity, sincere is a very interesting etymology, how this word came into English. It came from Latin word sincerus. I put it on slide, but somehow, let's see if slide works. So anyway, we'll continue. So it comes from a Latin word sincerus, which is made up of two words, sin and sera. Sin, S-I-N, means one, and crisera means to grow. So this word literally, sincere, when it derives from Latin, literally means one growth, not mixed. So one growth means that it is pure and clean. Now something having double growth would mean duplicity, different inside and outside. So this is one etymology, derivation of this word sincere. Another very interesting etymology, derivation of sincere word I have seen and read it some places is, although some strict grammarians, English grammarians do not accept that, but it is also in popular use even in the outside world. And I read in some Prabhupada's Vyas Puja offering books also, one Prabhupada disciple sharing the same. So again, from Latin, sine means without, another meaning, and cera means C-E-R-A, cera means wax. So they say in ancient Rome, what this marble sellers, what they would do is, in a big piece of marble, if suppose there is some small crack, to hide that crack, they would just cover it with a wax. But then how to test now? The testing, as a customer would come to purchase that, sometimes what they would do is they test the marble and they'll put it under heat. So when you put it under heat, the cracks, that wax would melt and the cracks could be seen. So this sincere would mean without wax. If the marble is proper, then it means without wax, there is no wax. So same analogy is given to convey how even we should be like that without our wax. We should not cover our faults or our shortcomings, because we also face the heat of the moment, heat of the day, heat of the three moods. Samsara Davanala we sing. So when we face the heat of this world, we should maintain our integrity and character. That's what another etymology of this word sincere is given, like that. So, and then interesting thing is, okay, this is fine, English derivations we are seeing. What about us, Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav students and Bhakti Sadachar students who are reading Prabhupada books and our scriptures? So, interestingly, in our scriptures also we have a very nice word for this sincere. Could any devotee try what would the words be in Sanskrit for sincere? Have you come across any time? Oh, thank you so much. Jai. Sorry? Bhadra. Okay, Bhadra is good. Try. It's not showing the projection. Okay, yeah, it shows projection now. So can you switch off this light so that they can see the screen? This is the etymology of sincere, the first one, sincerus. Sine means one, Krishna means to growth. Sincere means one growth, not mixed hence pure. Double growth would be duplicitous, different inside and out. Sorry?
You need to press this one, bro.
Which one? No, but it's showing properly now.
So it's okay?
Yeah, it's showing. It's proper now.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Focus can be increased. The readability could increase a little. Dada Govinda ki jai. That was without wax. So the word in Sanskrit is nirvyalikam. Sometimes you would have come across in Bhagavatam. In fact, many times this word comes, nirvyalikam, in Bhagavatam. And this also is quite an interesting derivation. Just like we saw for the English word, the derivation, similarly the Sanskrit word has an interesting derivation, nirvyalikam. This nirvyalikam is again made up of two words, nir. Nir means negation, and vyalikam is to cover. So nirvyalikam in Sanskrit in our Bhagavatam means it means not to cover up things. So nirvyalikam means not to cover up things, without covering. Nir is without, vyalikam is to cover. Nirvyalikam, not to cover up things, that is without duplicity. So very similar to English we find in Sanskrit also, Bhagavatam also, nirvyalikam. And another similar word in Bhagavatam to nirvyalikam is avyalikam. Avyalikam again, a means without, negation. Vyalikam is cover. So not to cover up things. Very similar to those two things. So I put some references in Bhagavatam where all this, it comes many times, but I've just put few references. Yeah, if devotees can move a little forward, you will be able to see the content. I have a lot of content on the slides also. Prabhu?
Can it be this one extended to the full screen?
Yeah, can you help with me that? I'm not sure how to do that. This side one need not come, just.
No, this PowerPoint. Somehow this. Just end.
Should I stop the sharing and once
Yeah,
you
yeah,
start?
yeah.
Stop
And then
and share now
put
this.
again. Yeah.
Better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. So very strikingly brings out this quality of sincerity. If you are sincere, even if you are a sweeper in the street, you are far better than a meditator who is not sincere. Yeah. Then again, we have one more quote of Prabhupada. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.20 that the Lord knows our sincerity of purpose. This first canto 8 chapter is Queen Kunti prayers. She is expressing her humility. I cannot understand you, Lord, we cannot see you. And Prabhupada gives a very brilliant purport to this verse. This simplicity in the form of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor. Many people, especially in India, we see a lot of religious fervor, big organizations, and so. But that sincere acceptance of Lord and His teachings is more effective
Yeah.
than showy, insincere religious fervor. Is it okay? Okay, Hare Krishna. Now we are all in this age of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga symptoms we know is age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Hypocrisy means there is a very striking difference between what people are in public and what they are in private. So now regarding this, I put one statement in the article which I will share. We are all practicing spiritualists, we are practicing sadhana bhakti. So this statement by one senior Prabhupada disciple, he said, a person on the spiritual path, all of us, has to carefully remain honest and earnest, fearing nothing except his or her own insincerity. We are all on the spiritual path, but we have not to be afraid of anything else external actually. The biggest thing we have to be afraid of is our own insincerity. Then another statement is, a sleeping person can be easily awakened, but one pretending to be asleep cannot be awakened at all. Somebody is sleeping, you say Haribol Prabhu, you tap him a little, you put alarm clock or something, then he gets up. But one who's pretending to be asleep, how can you wake him up? He's just pretending, he doesn't want to get up, he wants to, be away. So that is the problem. So this pretense, insincerity has to be avoided by a sincere spiritualist. Again, on this topic of sincere versus charlatan, we have a very nice quote by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Could some devotee help? I have some this quote. Ratnaprabhu, would you be able to read it? Do you have one more mic so that others can also hear?
I can read it loudly.
Loudly? Okay, yeah, your loud voice, okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Cheating and weakness are two separate things. Person devoid of a cheating propensity achieve perfection in life, but a cheater is never successful. Vaishnavism is another name of simplicity. Sincere persons can be weak, but they are not cheaters. Cheaters say something but do something else. Weak people are embraced by their defects, whereas the cheater are maddened by their achievements.
So we all struggling sadhakas, we know we have weaknesses, we are not perfect. We have this anartha nivritti stage going on. Some of you have probably cleaned it, already passed that stage, but yeah, many of the sadhakas are in the anartha nivritti stage. We have weaknesses. But then cheating and weakness are two separate things, Saraswati Thakur says. We may be weak, we have anarthas, but we are not deceptive, we are not trying to cheat others. So, yeah, this was one theme. I have another topic now, stumbling block or stepping stone. Stumbling block could be, some blocks are there and you stumble on it, you fall down, while walking or while progressing. But stepping stone is something which helps you. Suppose like sometimes in front of our main Goshala area, this during rains it's all, all mess, lot of water and mud. So if there are some big pieces of stones, we step on them and we are able to cross easily. Stepping stones. So now the previous section was talking about sincere versus charlatan, a genuine versus fake or duplicitous person. But the amazing creation, this material world, is whether we are fake or sincere. The thing is, difficulties will come in our life. It doesn't mean that the sincere person will not have difficulties during his practice of bhakti. So even sincere person goes through difficulties, challenges in his practice of bhakti, is in his or her practice of bhakti. But then, how do we deal with that? How do those? We will see in this section how to deal with that difficulties which are inevitable. And amazing thing is, these difficulties are sometimes even necessary. One thing is they are unavoidable, but second deeper point is sometimes they are even necessary, because otherwise the tendency is we become complacent. The tendency of jiva, conditioned living entities, he or she becomes complacent. We are not on our guard. We tend to lower our guards and relax, and yeah. So these difficulties, in one sense, they help us to be on guard always. And they help us to practice and internalize what we have read and heard. See, we attend this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav classes, we do a personal swadhyay, we read Prabhupada books. So in our schools and colleges, we used to have theory classes and practical classes, right? Theory is, you understand theory, and then you go through practical lab and you actually experiment and see. So we do theory classes, we hear, we read, but then when these difficulties and challenges come in our life, they help us to now internalize and practice that, put to practice what we have read and heard. And then in the bracket, I add one more thing. No, these difficulties keep us on guard and help us to practice and internalize what we have read and heard. Then in the article I wrote in bracket, and maybe even what we have taught to others. Because sometimes we have to do this service of teaching also. So although we may be teaching to others also, but then whether I am able to practice it myself. So when these difficulties come, they help us to do that process of practice. So again, I'll show one quote of Prabhupada in this regard. Srila Prabhupada explains in this Bhagavatam 2.9.24 purport, very powerful, heavy statement which will put us on guard again. In the Prabhupada writes, an easy-going life, an attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. The Lord is more clever than any living entity. Therefore, he wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in devotional service.
The brightness is okay, or it
Yeah,
needs to
if it can be increased, it will be better actually. Its readability is very nice. And Ratnapu, even this tube light, if you can switch off, that will be nice.
Now it's better.
And now it's better. Thank you so much. Yeah.
The other one was better. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Now, we are all again a very beautiful educational institute, VIHE. We are students, we are teachers, we go through this Shastric process, and Prabhupada wanted exams also for our courses. So just like even in school and colleges throughout life we have gone through exams. Just like exams differentiate between good students and others. Okay, we'll not take example of VIH outside. Here everybody is a sincere devotee practicing, doing their best. In schools and colleges, okay, in outside world the exams differentiate. They reveal the difference between good students and the others. Similarly, the difficulties on the spiritual path, they distinguish between the sincere practitioners from the others. So here is the point now. This topic which we have kept, stumbling block or stepping stone. So if we are sincere, then the obstacles are not stumbling blocks. then the obstacles become stepping stones actually. The same difficulties are coming, but depending on our attitude, if we are sincere, the difficulties are not stumbling blocks, but they are stepping stones. Now, another very important statement: obstacles accelerate our progress. Because if we act in a Krishna conscious way when tested, then we make more spiritual advancement than at any other time. So when difficulties come, okay, we see it as a test. But then yeah, same test, same difficulties will help us to make a lot of spiritual progress if we can act in a Krishna conscious way in that difficult time. And now there is one very powerful statement by one Prabhupada disciple. Uh, I'll share that now. Success is not how things turn out. Things are not in our control. Like today morning, there's so much problem with this projector and all. It's not in our control. Success is not how things turn out. Success is how we turn to Krishna. In good times, in bad times, and all in between. Success is not how things turn out. Things are not in our control. We are not the controllers. There are things beyond our control. But success is okay. What happens then? How we turn to Krishna in that situation? How do we adjust ourselves in that situation?
Who spoke this?
This is by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. When I shared this article with devotees, everyone pointed this statement is very good. I said it's not by me, it's by somebody else. But it's very, very nice meditation and very nice
You
statement.
can leave it written on the wall.
Thank you so much, Naraji. Also, again, I have one more quote. I will request somebody to read it. Now, I'll be sharing from Prabhupada one very nice quote regarding this theme of what we are discussing, stumbling block or stepping stone. This Prabhupada writes in, again, Kunti Maharani prayers in 8th chapter. Yeah, Mataji, you can remove the stand, just pass on the mic with the wire. Yeah. Stand can be kept aside, yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. I'll show this. You can read. Prabhupada writes in the purport to this. I think this is that verse, Vipda Shantu Tu Shashvat, where Kunti Maharani is saying, let there be calamities, let there be difficulties to Lord Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada explains, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth to death. Therefore, even though there are so many so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.825 purport.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So, stumbling block or stepping stone, yeah, as we are discussing, difficulties are inevitable, calamities are inevitable. But then opportunity to take shelter of the Lord. Okay. Now we are discussing this things about sincerity, but how do I assess whether I am sincere or not? Somebody may think, yeah, I'm trying, I'm sincere. So, would some devotee like to answer how to assess whether we are sincere or not? We all understand sincerity is a very good virtue, very good quality, and we wish to be sincere, but we should not be, having some wrong understanding that, okay, I'm doing sincerely, I'm okay, but how can somebody assess, whether he or she is sincere or not? By the progress, whether you are progressing spiritually, making spiritual. By being punctual, yeah, punctuality is very good quality. Yes. Yes, Mataji.
By checking if I'm saying something and actually doing something else.
Yes, what I'm saying and what I'm doing. Yes, Mataji.
Is like how we act in difficult times.
How we act in difficult times. Correct. Yeah, these are all good answers, right answers. So I'll also share. Yes, Prabhu.
By being self-honest, doing introspection.
Introspection.
And also striving to the capacity that we are given, fullest capacity.
Yeah, we have to strive to our fullest, whether I am doing my best or not. Yeah, so these are the points which are there here also. We'll just quickly share. By monitoring how strictly we are endeavoring to accept only things favorable for devotional service and rejecting those that are unfavorable. We have the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Vivarjanam. Accepting those things favorable and rejecting those things unfavorable for bhakti. So we have again in NOI we read, so many things which enhance the bhakti. Utsaha, Nishchayat, Dhairyat, Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat. And 6 things which diminish bhakti. Atyahara, Prayasascha, Prajalpo, Niyama, Graha. So like that our acharyas have given many things which are favorable for bhakti, many things which are unfavorable for bhakti. So how strictly we are endeavoring to do that, that will determine whether we are sincere or not. There are already parameters given, do's and don'ts, checklist is there. But how strictly we are endeavoring to do that, accepting those favorable and rejecting those are unfavorable. This is a one parameter to check our own sincerity. As Prabhuji said, hard work, not giving up, not being distracted, and doing the right things in accordance with Guru Sadhu Shastra and doing them with right intentions. This is a parameter to check whether I'm sincere or not. As Prabhuji very rightly said, whether I'm giving my very best or not, whether I'm doing my hard work, not giving up, not being distracted. This is another parameter. Yeah, another very important parameter is to check our sincerity, is to take honest feedback from our mentors, seniors, and friends. Prabhu or Mataji, yeah, this is my current situation, so this is what I'm doing. Do you think is it right or so? Can you please share your feedback? So honestly, take a feedback from our those devotees who know us, especially those who are guiding us in our spiritual life, our mentors, our seniors, and even friends also, equals can also help. And ultimately, these are the parameters, but ultimately it's the Paramatma in our heart, in everyone's heart, who knows best whether we are sincere or not. Right? Ultimately, Paramatma is the one who's all the time watching us, knowing our intentions also. Like, yes, I wrote about intentions also. So one is action, other thing is intention behind it. So Paramatma not only knows, watches our actions, but the intentions also behind them. So ultimately, it's the Paramatma who is the best judge of whether we are sincere or not. So in that BTG article, I had uh, last section of that article was attracting the Lord's grace. In fact, the title I gave for the article was Sincerity Attracts Grace. Sincerity attracts grace, Lord's grace. So after discussing few things, now the last section was attracting the Lord's grace. A few days back we had this Vamana Dwadashi, 8th canto. We come across this pastime. Okay, again, picture. This picture is shows Bali Maharaj. Vaman Dev comes to them, to the demons, and Bali Maharaj goes to welcome him, and his Guru Shukracharya is there. So he's in a little awkward situation now, Bali Maharaj, because he's on the demon side, and now Vamanadev has come to take back the heavenly kingdoms from them to give to the demigods. But although we know Bali Maharaj, although he's in a demon body, demon family, but he's a great devotee. When he sees the Lord has come, he's so much filled with devotion. He wants to, reciprocate with the Lord, but he cannot. His Guru Shukracharya is telling him, no, 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 he's Vishnu, he'll cheat us, you all demons will be in trouble, and he's surrounded by other demons. So Prabhupada again writes a very brilliant purport in this 8th canto, this section where this. So this again inspires hope. Now it's very hope-giving purport which Prabhupada writes in this section of Bali Maharaj. Again, I'll request some volunteer if they can read. The font would be a little smaller, but see if you can read it. I'll put it on the slide. Yes, madam.
When Vaman Dev appears before Bali Maharaj immediately wanted to offer him respectful obeisances. But he was unable to do so because of the presence of Shukracharya and other demonic associates. The Lord is so merciful, however, that although Bali Maharaj did not actually offer obeisances but only endeavored to do so within his mind, the Supreme Personality of Godhead blessed him with more mercy than even the demigods could ever expect. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhavgrahi Janardhana because he takes only the essence of a devotee's attitude. If a devotee sincerely surrenders, the Lord, as the super soul in everyone's heart, immediately understands this. Thus, even though externally a devotee may not render full service, if he is internally sincere and serious, the Lord welcomes his service nonetheless.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Mataji. Yeah, we saw. So Prabhupada writes, Lord blessed Bali Maharaj with more mercy than even the demigods could expect. Bhavgrahi Janardana. Regarding this, I have a small, very small video clip. Let's see if it plays. I'll try to show that now. Yeah, this devotee on the picture, anybody can recognize who is this devotee? Prabhupada. Jayananda Prabhu, Jayananda Prabhu. So, and this is, his name is Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So he is sharing one very small memory, very short, 30 seconds, 40 seconds memory of Srila Prabhupada and Jayananda Prabhu regarding this theme. Let's see if it plays. Yeah, you can try to listen if possible.
Prabhupada gave Gayatri Mantra. First, I think he did it first in Boston, and then he came to San Francisco and gave some of us Gayatri Mantra. It was September 1968. So, he gave out a sheet with the Gayatri Mantras after teaching us how to chant. Anyway, Jayananda was having some difficulty pronouncing the mantras, so he decided that he should go and ask Srila Prabhupada how to properly pronounce the mantras. So he took me along with him. And we sat down in front of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada told him to go ahead and try to pronounce the mantras. And as Jayananda tried to pronounce the mantras, Prabhupada just leaned back and started roaring with laughter. And Prabhupada just shook his head and said, it's hopeless. He said, but it doesn't matter. He said, because you're so sincere, Krishna will accept it. Krishna will accept your chanting.
Hare Krishna. We all know Hare Krishna mantra is easy to chant, but those of us are Brahman initiated, we know there are 6-7 different mantras, and in the beginning especially it could be difficult pronouncing the Gayatri mantras. So, but just because you are sincere, Krishna will accept it. Again, the same point which we saw, Bhavgrahi Janardana, which Prabhupada was telling in the previous quote which we saw. Bhav, he accepts the essence. And ultimately, Lord Paramatma is the witness of our sincerity. So yeah, although we may have difficulties, but Lord knows our sincerity, and then He will reciprocate, He'll accept still. Okay, I'll take a brief pause, although it's like almost 8:30 now, but probably a little bit more I have to share. But before that, I would like to hear if anybody has any comments or corrections or questions. Then, yes, Mataji, corrections. I'm sorry. I'm sure I would have done mistakes.
Just another funny thing like this. I heard this from Badri Narayan Maharaj. Anyone who knows Badri Narayan Maharaj, he's from California, and he likes jokes, and he has somehow extracted from Prabhupada teachings all sorts of funny things. And so he has one which says, there was a devotee is asking Prabhupada about the pronunciation even of the Maha Mantra, what to speak of the Gayatri Mantra. And many devotees, due to the background of another language,
Yes.
they are not able to actually speak the Sanskrit pronunciation of the mantra at all. And so then Prabhupada made a comment. He said, "Don't worry, Krishna knows who's calling."
Yeah, Krishna knows who is calling him, because we say, the meaning of Hare Krishna is, "Oh Lord, please engage me in your service." So Krishna knows who is calling me.
But this is also the point where we understand the importance of sincerity,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing which will save us. Because we can't treat Krishna even when we are in the hardest of trouble, attacked by Maya, whatever happens, that everything goes wrong, the thing which will save us is this spark of sincerity inside that keeps praying to the Lord, save me, save me, save me, save me, if something has gone wrong, I don't know why it's like that, I don't know what's happening, I don't want it, but somehow or other something's going wrong. That it is that spark of sincerity which is actually going to save us. So out of all the qualities, as you said, it was at the top of the list, because that's what Prabhupada also says in the Bhagavatam, many times in his purport, that all it takes in Krishna consciousness is sincerity. That's all what it takes.
Yes.
Because that's what Krishna will read. He will not read the hard work, he will not read. Of course, everything is there. The hard work may be a symptom of sincerity, but it may be also a symptom of something else. So this is what he will read, is the sincerity. And we know that Krishna is known as Suhrit,
Suhrit. Yes.
which means the very close friend and very close to our heart.
Yes.
The heart is the seat of the mind. And that's where all our thoughts, our feelings, our desires are being stored. And Krishna is right there, very close. And I like this. There's an analogy that Prabhupada has given. Many times I repeat it because I think it's beautiful. He says that the Paramatma, he perceives whatever is there in the heart, just like we perceive the aroma of a flower by sitting next to a bush. You sit next to a rose bush and you smell the aroma by the proximity. You sit next to a rose bush, so you smell the aroma and it's pleasing. Oh wow. And at another time, you sit next to a garbage can or something that has not been cleared, and you also get we won't call it the aroma, we call it this bad smell. In Hindi there is sugandh and kugandh. So you get this bad smell and you feel like, oh, and you don't want to stay there. Next to the rose you want to sit forever, but next to the garbage you don't feel comfortable. So this analogy is given that Krishna is sitting so close to us in the heart that he smells our mentality. Just like one can smell an object by proximity. So, and it's infallible. It's infallible. We cannot trick the Lord. It's infallible. So, even when we find ourselves insincere, because sometimes you do the whole analysis and the conclusion is, I am not sincere. So, and then we can remember what Prabhupada at some point also taught, that you should have the desire, to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. You should have the desire. And the devotee asks, what if I don't have the desire? And then Prabhupada says, you should desire to obtain the desire. And of course, to remove that, pray to the Lord. And this is actually covering. It's not me. The Sachitananda Jiva has original purity, but the coverings are there. And of course we have our free will. Somewhere along the line we made a mistake, but it's a mistake. And so we pray and pray and pray and pray for the mercy and pray for the desire to be sincere, even if we are not. And hopefully Krishna will catch that sincerity. Because really, sincerity is all what we have in Krishna. Nothing else. We don't have any qualification. We are not great. We are not special. One time one devotee was signed some letter to Prabhupada and said, "Your most insignificant servant." And Prabhupada replied, "You're not most anything." So we really have nothing, neither our insignificance, neither our greatness. The only thing we have in a relationship with somebody is the sincerity. There is nothing else. thinking about this today, even if it's the second time, we can even have a third time because it's such a, it's like, it's the foundation of our success in Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your kind words. Any other devotee would like to add or ask any question? Yes, Mataji.
It was interesting topic personally because I also sort of sincerity recently. I was thinking about what sincerity means because I remember what Mataji commented, what Mataji taught on what it takes, what only takes to be Krishna consciousness is sincerity.
Yes.
I took that to my heart and I've been thinking about the meaning of sincerity. What I came to, the point I came to is that sincerity is when our contemplation is on our relationship with Krishna and how to improve it. Whereas when there is lack of sincerity, we rather think of how good we think about how good we look. Does it make sense?
Yes.
We
Yes.
think about our external appearance and how good we look to
Yes.
others'
Yes.
eyes. So also I was thinking there's no such sincere person and not sincere person. Actually, we are all. To be sincere is a process. We just try to be we just try to choose to be sincere rather than whether we are looking good or not.
Yes. Thank you.
I just want to share something in my mind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru. I had a question. We were talking about capacity, working to the fullest of our capacity. Taking the example of Lord Hanuman, when the time came when he was supposed to go and get the mountain, Hanuman forgot that he had the strength. He had to be reminded that he can do it. He had the strength within himself. So my question is, similarly in our lives, sometimes it's not possible for one to know what is his fullest capacity. It may require the help of external devotees to really know whether we are striving towards using our full potential or not. So if one were to just rely on oneself and maybe the bar could be like 50% or 60% Krishna conscious, and one good thing that I'm being sincere. So is it always, do we always need to take the help of seniors in order to realize whether we are using our full potential or fullest capacity to know whether we are being sincere or not?
One very good help is, as we mentioned, like somebody may think I am sincere, but how do we assess our own sincerity? Those points we are taking as, and as I said, one very good thing is to get feedback from our. So it's not just always our seniors and mentors; they are definitely helpful, but many times peer, our equals also can help us, because they know us even more closely. So they know, when you are spacing out or lazy, you could do better. Okay, encourage us, nudge us. Yeah. This is the Mataji would like to add. This is the thought which is like we try to do our best and take guidance from others also, seniors, friends, mentors, about giving our best.
In one sense, I think that it's very much a question of introspection. Both the feedback just as we just said that Krishna smells our mentality, we also can smell our mentality. we also, Jiva Goswami has explained that the characteristic of consciousness is that it acts both ways. Consciousness allows us to be aware of external things, and consciousness is also turned inwards, and it allows us to know what's going on inside. So we, many times we don't spend enough time turning the consciousness within. And when we turn the consciousness within, then we'll see. One way to know whether we are working to our full capacity is that, because that's what Krishna wants, it means that when we work with our full capacity, Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, we are satisfied. So if we feel satisfied, fulfilled, then this means that we are going in the right direction. Because this is the result of Krishna consciousness, that we feel blissful, we feel satisfied, we feel connected. So as soon as there is a discrepancy and we feel dissatisfied, disconnected, then we can understand that we are not, there's something that's not going straight. It can be different things, but in other words, because working to our full capacity is not a question of the quantity that is visible externally, is that, it's like, we said so many times, the scientists are so intelligent, but they misuse their intelligence. They do so many things, but wrong. Whereas a simple person who's got a pea brain, if he's understood sincerity, if he's understood what is Krishna Seva, and he uses his small intelligence just to clean the floor properly, for example, to do a proper cleaning, that person is more dear to Krishna than somebody who is so intelligent. That's why in Bhakti, there is no bar for anybody. Because the capacity means to use whatever you have in Krishna's service and not keep things back. And Prabhupada many times said, Krishna doesn't look at what you are giving him. He looks at what you are keeping in the back. Krishna is very playful. And he's looking in the back. What did you keep in the bag? You gave me 2 laddus, you have 4 in the bag. So it's for us to introspect and understand, am I giving my full self to Krishna? And we can know it by how satisfied we are, in our progress in Krishna consciousness. How, in general, how satisfied we are. Because if Krishna is pleased, then we are pleased. That is the philosophy. In that way, that's one way to assess when you find within yourself. So then we have to try to tune ourselves again and again, because the tendency is always there, laziness. It's a modes of nature will drag us down. So laziness will come. So then, let's do it later. Let's do as quick as possible. Let's do as less as possible. That's the mode of ignorance. And when you speak of the mode of passion, which is going to divert us and give us a wrong motive. Let's do it so everybody knows that I'm doing it. Let's do it so that I get praised. Let's do it so I get some benefit. So we can introspect, because these things, the devotional service which is covered by these other things, which are insincerity, they are born from passion and ignorance. And it doesn't bring the satisfaction. Shantim richati is the idea. When we are peaceful, then we will be peaceful. When we are sincere, in general, peaceful. That's how much I can say. We can also smell ourselves. We can understand, I did not do this sincerely. I did not do it sincerely. So, and we can only try better the next time.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your wonderful comments. So I think it's already time. We can end it here.
to make one comment regarding this question. Actually, Hanuman says that he doesn't have any strength. He's only remembering the lotus feet of Lord Ram. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, when I don't know whether it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Ramananda I say, that if you think of lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, the tougher becomes easier. If not, the easier becomes tough.
Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says
Krishna
this.
oh,
Jasmin smrite dushkaram sukaram bhavet. Yeah, remembering the Lord's lotus feet, the difficult task becomes easy. And forgetting him, even the easy things becomes
So
difficult.
even the Hanuman also says that. Always thinking of Lord Ram, that I couldn't do whatever I do.
And as Mataji was talking about capacity and Hanuman, I remembered again the same Ramayana. We have the example of spider or squirrel also. When that bridge was being built, Lord Ram was equally pleased by that small squirrel, or I don't know which was that squirrel, who was doing very small things. And Hanuman is bringing big rocks. But again, Lord Paramatma seeing the sincerity. He's also not holding, just like Hanuman is not holding back anything, that small squirrel was also not holding back. She was doing the best to her capacity and he was doing the best to his capacity.
So even I heard that if one person is able to do, has the ability of 10%,
Yeah.
and another person is doing the ability of 50%.
Yes.
If he does ability to work for 45%, Lord is not satisfied with him.
Yeah.
But if a person is doing his capacity is 10%, if he does 11%, Lord is very clear.
Yes.
Happy with him. Because he has the intention to progress.
Do more, best,
Do more
give the
so
best.
it's not about what we are doing, it's what is the intention of it.
Thank you so much. I'll just end with the one last line, which I ended the article with also, the PTC article. We know God helps those who help themselves. So we have to take our sincere baby steps towards Krishna. Krishna for sure reciprocates by taking his many big steps towards us. We have to take our sincere baby steps towards Krishna. Krishna reciprocates by taking his many steps and big steps towards us. Jai, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. We can end, right?
It's almost little early. Any more comments?
Oh, little early, then I can share one or two more things I thought.
Yes. Where did you see that it's late? It's 12 to 9.
This time, oh, okay. Then I have one or two very good points to share actually.
And also I wanted to request, can you share with us your article so everybody can read it?
Yeah, I'll be happy to share. Yeah, and I have feedback. I'll share that BTC article with the devotees. And as you were making that point, Mataji, about initially when you started speaking about Paramatma can perceive ourselves, and I liked your phrase spark of sincerity. You mentioned spark of sincerity and saving how in bhakti sincerity is what saves us. So in that I had one very nice small anecdote. Once one devotee was asking question to another senior devotee, that sometimes we see there are so many other spiritual paths within India, within Hinduism, and within outside bigger world, Christianity, Islam. Sometimes we see there are some people on the other spiritual paths who are actually better progressed actually. Although we have the highest philosophy, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is the highest, but sometimes we may be struggling actually. And sometimes we see some people in other spiritual paths, they are probably even doing better than us. So this senior Prabhupada disciple, he gave a very nice answer. On the path of spirituality, I like this phrase, just like Mataji made this phrase of spark of sincerity. This devotee said, on this path of spirituality, we have only one safety belt in this material world. Like safety belt we need. So there's only one safety belt we have in this world when we are practicing spirituality, that is our own sincerity. We all would like to have safety belts. When I was newly learning swimming, I wanted some safety, I may not drown. So they give some sort of safety backup and safety belts while you're climbing something. So on the path of spirituality, there is only one safety belt, that is our own sincerity. That is one thing which I wanted to share. Okay, one important slide which I would like to share is, okay, we can have, there are many things to do, share. This point often comes, like every Tuesday and Friday we have this very wonderful classes of qualities. Same thing His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj emphasized in Govardhan Eco Village, where we run this Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeeth. So there he was telling the teachers, okay, you are teaching this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the scriptures, but ultimately they boil down to the essence is to develop Vaishnava qualities. As you are also as wonderfully having twice in a week this classes on qualities, humility, tolerance, determination, sincerity. So that is what we saw in GV also in Vidyapeeth, that was focused by Radhanath Maharaj. You have to do it. Separate classes. Okay, during our regular discussion of Gita, Bhagavatam, we discuss these as they come in the verses. But he said separate exclusive classes also he wants on these qualities, like one quality as we are having here similarly. And my observation is that when we discuss these qualities of determination, enthusiasm, sincerity, one question often comes is, how to develop now? We understand this is important. This is very, very important. This is a safety belt. This is a spark of sincerity. But now, how to develop this quality? So there's just few points I just want to share, Mataji. It's a generic thing which applies to so many qualities of which we want to develop in bhakti: humility, determination, enthusiasm, sincerity. How to develop? One thing is, as Mataji was also mentioning about free will. We do it by doing it. We start doing it. We know it's important, so we do our steps. We do our endeavor to start doing it by using our free will. We all have free will. We start doing it, using it. Another very, very important point which helps to develop these qualities is association. Prabhupada so often stressed, we become what we associate with. An iron rod in fire becomes hot like an iron, and an iron rod becomes like a fire, and iron rod in ice becomes cold like an ice. So association is very, very important, of association of good devotees. Good chanting, good sadhana helps. Bhaktya sanjayati bhaktya. Practice of bhakti leads to further bhakti. So we all are doing different limbs of bhakti, and as we are doing it, and we are endeavoring on these qualities, so this bhakti itself will help. The process of bhakti itself will help us to develop these qualities of all this, which we discuss every week. Prayojan helps in abhideya. We know this concept of sambandha, abhideya, prayojan. Abhideya is the process, and prayojan is the ultimate goal, the result of something, some endeavor. So when we are focusing on the prayojan, what will be the result of this, what will be the goal, what will be the benefit of doing all this, so that helps us to go through the abhideya, the process. So when we know what awaits us, when we are successful in our bhakti, when we make spiritual advancement, as Mataji was saying, we feel satisfied. Nobody has to give a certificate, oh, now you are making progress in bhakti. From your heart you feel satisfied, happy, you feel reciprocation from Krishna. So that prayojan helps us to go through the abhideya. Abhideya, we have ups and downs, we come, but we steadily keep going, we don't stop. Ahitu ki apratihata. There is no break in that, our process, in our endeavor. So focusing on prayojana, what awaits us, will help us to go through abhideya. So we keep focusing on developing these qualities. And getting inspiration from the lives of Acharya, Srila Prabhupada and others. We meditate. Today is the day when Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas. Yesterday was Srila Haridas Thakur's disappearance day. Day before that was Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance day. Day before that was Jiva Goswami's appearance day. 4 days we have 4 Acharya Tithis. And before that, of course, we had the wonderful Rupotsav festival for so many days, meditating on the glories of Rupa Goswami. So getting inspiration from the lives of Acharyas, how sincerely they practiced their life, to show us by their example, Srila Prabhupada. And of course, our contemporary devotees, it's not that we have to go only to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Amongst us, we have so many sincere devotees, sincere Vaishnavas, from taking inspiration from them. One thing which really helps me is this, having thematic notes. So in my laptop, when we hear different classes, we make notes. At the end of the day, whatever I read from Prabhupada books here in classes, I make a thematic notes. Okay, one topic of humility, one topic of determination, patience. So whenever I'm struggling with certain anartha, I go and see those notes and try to preach to myself, okay, this is what Prabhupada says, this is what this devotee said in his or her class, this is what they shared their realization on this quality. So having thematic notes helps. And again, the last point, again, as Mataji was also, Prashant Mataji was also sharing, have desire, as we are saying, Prabhupada said, have a desire for it. If you don't have desire, desire to have the desire to do it. So whatever quality we want to develop, to have a strong desire to do that, and then fervently pray for that. So these were the few thoughts which I collected, compiled, how to develop any good quality which we want to develop in our practice of bhakti. These were the few things. Is it okay, Mataji? Now we can end with this. Okay, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.